Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that we link with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Coming to you today live. Want to big you all up for watching and supporting the show day in, day out. Thank you very much for being on board. The England game last night. Let's talk about that first. Oh my God. How frustrating was that as an England fan? If you're a Scottish fan, you're happy today. As an England fan, that was poor. Really, it was like watching Arsenal. It was really, really bad. 0-0 against Scotland. One player, talking about Arsenal, who did play really well in the game, and I was pleased for, was Kieran Tierney. Great performance by him. He sort of played in a back three, and he was absolutely brilliant. Lots of talk, actually, around that he's on the verge of signing a brand new 5-year contract with Arsenal, worth up to £110,000 a week for him. So that'd be great for him personally and great for Arsenal. You know, when you see him put in a performance like what he did last night, it shows you that it's very, very important to hold on to this guy. He's a future Arsenal captain in my eyes. I love him. I love the spirit that he brings, the tenacity, the skill. He's such a good player. And yesterday really put in a great performance, kept Harry Kane really, really quiet throughout the game. So well done to Kieran Tierney. I hope that they can progress along with England in this tournament. Well done to Scotland. The news all around today is that Stan Kroenke, now, I don't know whether to believe this or not, right? But Stan Kroenke is reportedly giving Mikel Arteta and Edu £250 million to spend in this transfer window. That is the talk. He's giving it to them and saying, right, it's £250 million, rebuild this Arsenal team. We know we had a horrific season. We know we didn't get into Europe for about the first time in, 25 years. We know that Mikel Arteta's under pressure. The Kroenkes are under pressure. You know, Daniel X come with 2 bids now. He wants to buy the club. They're under big pressure. Now, what do you think? Do you think there's anything in this that a £250 million has been given? I'm not sure about this. I mean, so I want it to be true. I'd love it to be true, but I'm not sure. I think it was reported in 90 Mins. Don't really see where they've got their sort of full source from as regarding this, but you know, everybody's reporting it based off of that story. All I'll say is this, I'll wait and see. It does look like Arsenal looking to spend money. I mean, when you see them trying to bid for players like Ben White, and you know that's going to cost upwards of £40 million, that is very ambitious, especially in a position that, you know, you wouldn't immediately think they need. And if they do get £250 million, it would be fantastic. You know, I mean, players like Basuma, you know, we'll be able to pursue these sort of players. But I am waiting to see first before I get all excited. We've been told to get excited before. I'm not excited at the moment. I want to see evidence. Then I might get excited. Also today, Arsenal seemingly back in for Houssem Aouar. Now, remember, last summer, we were chasing Aouar hard. As a matter of fact, I personally think that Houssem Aouar was Arsenal's #1 target. He was, you know, we weren't able to get him. We were being told at that time that Lyon wanted £50 million for that. And Arsenal refused to budge on it and said they're not going to pay that sort of money. And Houssem Aouar ended up staying at Lyon. Still only 22. And we're hearing today that Arsenal are reportedly back in for him. Could be available for as little as £20 million, according to some reports. He didn't have a great season last year, Houssem Aouar. He actually caught COVID and suffered quite badly from COVID. He said himself that when he came back from it, it took him quite a long time to make a full recovery. But you know, Lyon are in a lot of debt. They didn't make the Champions League, and the talk is that they would be willing to sell Houssem Aouar. Whether they'd be willing to take such a drop on what they originally wanted for him is going to be another matter. But we're being told today that Arsenal are ready in a bid to try and get Houssem Aouar. We know that we need a creative player. We know we need a player in that number 10 position, and it'd be a good signing. I mean, I'll be happy with that. If you've got Awar and Smith Rowe battling out for that position, it's perfect. 22 years of age, that's perfect as well. Because one of the things we're being told with that 250 million is supposedly going to be offered to Mikel Arteta to buy players, they're saying to him the profile of players they want are young players that they can build and in the future sell for even more money if they wanted to. Another player also linked with is Andre Silva. Now, I spoke about him a couple of weeks ago here on the show. Had a fantastic season for Eintracht Frankfurt last year over there in the Bundesliga. He's actually in the Portugal squad at the moment. Not sure if he'll get a game today. He hasn't figured yet. It's hard to get into that team when you've got players like Cristiano Ronaldo ahead of you. But he scored 28 goals last season, which was really impressive. That was more than Haaland did in the Bundesliga. And again, we're being told that Arsenal really, really interested and might make a bid for him. He's valued at around about £30 million. There's, as you can imagine, with a goal-scoring record like that, there's few teams interested in him, including RB Leipzig. But Arsenal said to be very interested in him. They're looking at strikers at the moment because it could be that they move out Lacazette. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, Alexander Lacazette, on high wages as well. And Arsenal definitely looking at strikers. Another striker they're looking at is Odsonne Edouard. Again, another striker they've looked at multiple times over the past season and a half. Still only 23 on Edouard. Had a great goal-scoring record for Celtic, even though it wasn't as great last season. Valued at around about 15 to 20 million pounds, still only 23. Remember, it looked a couple of weeks ago that he was on his way to Leicester City. Remember, he used to play under Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. But it looks now that Leicester City have kind of cooled on the Edouard situation and are sort of turning their attentions to try and get Patson Daka from RB Salzburg. So could Arsenal make a move for Edouard? We know that they've been interested in him for a time. He is a good player. As good as Lacazette? Not sure if he's as good as Lacazette. I don't think so. But Arsenal definitely looking at long-term replacements for Lacazette, and they're going to want somebody younger. And what's going to happen with Ainsley Maitland-Niles? He continually getting linked to loads and loads of different clubs. The latest clubs to be linked with him are Southampton and Watford. Arsenal said to want about £20 million for him. Again, a lot of these sort of players, like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, if they are moved on, that money will be able to be used against what Arsenal are going to spend. So those are some of the biggest links today. What are you guys saying? Let's get into some of your comments. I've seen a lot of them here. This one here from Bob J says 250 million and just a load of question marks. VAR says Kroenke giving 250 million to spend, 300 million from selling dead wood. Some people must be on drugs. It'll be a miracle if we get 2 to 3 signings, even if those are made. No European football is a huge financial blow. It is VAR. It is a huge financial blow. The only way Arsenal are going to get back to being in the, say, top 4, or challenging for the top 4, is they're going to have to spend big this summer. There's no way around it. I don't care what Kroenke thinks. And I'm not saying he is going to spend big, by the way. As I said earlier, I want to see evidence. But the only way is he has to spend big. When you look around the teams around us, Chelsea, they're going to go again. They're going to spend more money. Man United will spend more money. Man City, they always do, right? Liverpool will invest as well. 4 teams that are ahead of us immediately there. Then you can throw Leicester into the mix, Everton's, Tottenham. It's hard to get into that top 4. If he wants to get back into European football, and I don't think they're looking at Europa League, they want to get back into the Champions League, the only way to get back in there is to spend. You've got to rebuild that squad. And if they don't do that, forget top 4. Again, forget Europe possibly. Again. Unless you're thinking about the Conference League. So they have to start looking at investing, or for me, if not, sell up. It's as simple as that, really. It's as simple as that. Shaba says, First time watching AFTV TD live. Great show, Robbie. I think Arsenal will spend. It looks very obvious. They have to spend, Shabba. They have to spend. Will they? And will they get their priorities right? I mean, me and DT, we've done a podcast, All Guns Blazing, and we're discussing that heavily. Getting the priorities right. I mean, some of the players we're looking at the moment, Ben White and people like that, great signings if we are going to spend 250 million. If we're not, then concentrate on the areas that we really, really need. Digesh says, are we going to sign and sell a player or wait for others to come in for the same players and lose them for 2 to 5 million? We always go half-hearted. They need to go all out and get 3 to 4 signings done early. I agree. They've got to get those signings done early, because if we don't get those signings done early, look at our start to the season. It's tough. Brentford away, Chelsea at home, Man City away. That's in August. Could be a terrible start if we don't get our act together. So we've got to get those signings in early. Reverse says that expectations are War, Kunde, Silva, reality, Andres Pereira, White, Abraham. Tom D says, is this 250 million from player sales? Well, the talk is 250 million on the table. Yeah, spend that, and then we'll make back whatever we can make back off of player sales later on. I want to see evidence. Evidence. I mean, so far I haven't seen the evidence. If we're getting outbid for Buendia, I don't see the evidence of 250 million. Do you? Aiden says we need Isaac. I've got to say I was very impressed with Isaac yesterday, playing Alexander Isaac, playing for Sweden yesterday. Looks really good. A Real Sociedad player. Again, if we're looking at strikers, he looks decent. He had a good season last year as well for Real Sociedad. Scored a lot of goals. So, Ben Dawson says, do we actually have 250 million? Well, that's... Exactly. We don't know. Listen, I'm not vouching for it, bro. I'm not vouching for it. Kazil says, Arsenal have 100 million max. ZSW says 250 million. How? Well, you know what? We do have very, very rich owners. They've just never spent over the years. Simple as that. Prajwal says, Ben White is our right back, our new right back, I guess. There's been a lot of talk about that because, again, going after Ben White, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why do we need Ben White? We got Saliba, we got Holding, and there's been a lot of talk that, well, he can play as a right back as well. I don't know, get a proper right back. That's what I'd say. Get a proper right back. I didn't really see him playing right back, is only as a utility sort of thing for Brighton. But if Lamptey's fit, he plays there. Paul says Basuma, Ben White, Sambi Lokonga, and Locatelli. That's his wish list. Amit says, what about Danny Ings for Lacazette? Danny Ings will possibly be available. Brendan says, any Euro watch-alongs today? Yes, they are. As soon as I finish this show, I will be off to the studio. We're doing the watch-alongs today, as usual. Big up for everybody who's been joining those over on the Don Robbie channel. Cooks Big So says Partey and Basuma and Maddison is up there in the best midfields in the Premier League. If we could get that done, fantastic, brilliant. Then I'm like, we're showing ambition. It's fantastic. But if we don't, Ty's Headphones says 250 million to spend. Are we looking... And we're looking at a player like Ben White. Now, Ben White is a very talented player, and he's one of those players that you got to look at the profile of players. He's one of those players that is set to be much better. He's almost like you say, he's a sort of star in the future, in the making. But do we need him right now? That is the question. Mark T says 250 million to spend, and we can't get Buendia or Basuma or even Grealish. Well, if you've got 250 million, you can try and go and get those players. Of course, the other problem we have is the fact that, we don't have any European football. And that is a big issue. I mean, there's a lot, a player like Grealish, you could have the money to buy him. But when you go and sit down with him now and you say, right, we want to bring you to Arsenal, what if Man City come in? What if Chelsea come in? What if these teams are going to be able to offer him European football? These teams are going to be able to say to him, listen, we're going to be challenging for silverware. You know, we can't tell him that right now. All we can tell him is that we're going to go on a rebuilding process. So that is the big problem, not getting into Europe. On the one hand, not getting into Europe is almost like a decent thing to happen to Arsenal, because it's that massive wake-up call that we've needed for a very long time. But then on the other hand, it's very negative when you're coming to try and buy players. You know, I mean, it's very, very difficult to get certain signings done because, you know, you don't have that European football for those really big players. Big it up to, I can't pronounce that name, sorry, Aquashika. He says, we need an experienced manager to rebuild a club. Just sack Arteta. He's a dumb tactician, just like Southgate. I heard a few comparisons to him and Southgate yesterday, I have to say. Loyola says, this is all PR spin. And I got to say, Loyola, I kind of was thinking a similar thing myself. Anchor says, Robbie, we can get Billy Gilmore. He's a small guy, but can easily punch above his weight. He's currently down the pecking order behind Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho at Chelsea. We should be able to get him. There's no way they're going to sell Billy Gilmore. They rate him very highly. And if they did sell him, it'd be an unbelievable amount of money. And you could go and get Basuma much cheaper. Abhinav says, if we have 250 million, we can address all the positions we need to strengthen in one transfer window. We need a striker, a right winger, a central midfielder, right back, and goalkeeper. Fish Dot says, I wouldn't be mad if Tierney's wage was 250 million. Well, a lot of people were saying that about Aubameyang previous to last season, and then now they're saying he's getting too much money. You know what I mean? This is the thing. You know, swings and roundabouts. Everybody's your favorite player when they're on form. Where is the source, says Quasar. I think it was a guy who writes for 90 Mins who sort of broke that story exclusively about that amount of money being available to spend this summer. As I said, I want to see that first, right? Because I'm not too sure. There's no evidence of them doing that in the past. I'm going to be shocked if they do that now. Really true. Big up to Daniel, who says, Robbie, loving the live show from Trinidad. Spend that 250 million on Mbappe Arsenal. Again, yet again, even if they had that and they went to Mbappe, would he come to Arsenal? What can Arsenal offer him right now? A guy like him who could go absolutely anywhere. That's the thing. No European football. Bob Jr. says, sign Ramos on a free. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against Sergio Ramos, man. The team could do a bit of fight, man. He come in there, all right, he's knocking on a bit, but he come in and shake things up. I'll tell you that. Captain Ahmed says, we can sign Odward, Isaac, Basuma, Aarons, and Onana. Right? If we did have £250 million to spend, let's just say, I'm thinking now, wow, that's a lot of money, and then we're going to get a lot of money in. But if let's just say they really put £250 million down on the table, then to me, out of that, Basuma is an absolute must. Absolute must out of that 250 million. I'd be going in and I'd be putting in a big amount of money for it'd be for me, it'd be Basuma or a Locatelli. I'll be going for one of those two. Right? Or an Ndidi from Leicester. I'll be going and putting in a big amount of money for him. Right? Because you've got £250 million now. That's a lot of money that you can play with. I'll be going in and I'll be getting a top quality central midfielder, the best that I could get. You know, I'll be looking at an Odegaard. I'll maybe put a 40 million on the table for, say, an Odegaard. Or I might even be looking, I mean, I've seen the links with Maddison. I like those links. I'd go and I'd speak about it, you know, go and see if we could tempt Grealish. I know I'm contradicting myself in a way because I just said how difficult that would be a deal to get. But I wouldn't be trying to worry about areas where they don't really need desperate fixing. So goalkeeper, if we got that Onana, that's enough. We got Leno, Onana, that's enough for me, right? And I'd be going and I'd be getting a quality right back. We're going to try and talk to Hakimi, who, the talk is available. Now, again, it'd be difficult to get him because he's probably going to go to a team like Chelsea or somebody like that because what they can offer him in Champions League football. But if I've got that sort of money, those are the quality of players that I'm going to talk to. Or maybe then you can go to tear down, but maybe a Lamptey or somebody like that. But couple of top quality players would have to be coming in for me. Is Ross Taylor suggesting Pereira from Leicester? Yeah, that'll be a great signing. Great signing. A lot of you are breaking down what you can spend with that money. I knew this would spark a lot of debate. Actually, Mohammed says, what about a backup left back because of Tierney's injury record? You're right. Bam Bam Flinkstones, he says goalkeeper Ryan on a free, goalkeeper Onana. 20 million, I guess he's thinking, are you saying one of the two? Yeah, one of those two. 20 million on a right back Dumfries, who's looked very, very good in this tournament for Holland. 25 million on I think it means million, not pounds. 25 million on left back Mitchell from Crystal Palace. Basuma 40 to 45 million. Lokonga 20 million. Awar 30 to 35 million. Grealish 70 to 80 million. That should be our main priorities. Sell and raise funds too. For me, yeah, you're right. If we've got that type of money, those are the two, I'd even maybe be thinking of that Patson Daka up front to replace maybe a Lacazette. If we've got that type of money, but that's why I'm just not sure I'm too convinced that type of money is available. Get Basuma, Grealish and Awar. Yeah. Agreed. But, I'm just not, somebody there said PR, he ain't too wrong. RGF Gaming says Basuma, Awar, Isaac, Ben White, Onana, and Maddison. 250 million would do that if we're damn serious. Yeah. Where's the other one? I was trying to find one. There was a guy who was breaking it down. Demetrius says thoughts on Denzel Dumfries. Man looked like the baller. When was the last time we had that attacking threat from right back? Yeah, I've really liked that Denzel Dumfries. Like to see what he's done throughout the season because, as we know, buying players off of tournaments, you can, but in this tournament, he's looked brilliant. Dennett says, if we're spending 50 million on Ben White, how much will we be spending on a midfield player? Well, that is what we're going to wait and see. How about the women's side? It could be Philippa Conda. It could do if, I'm not sure who that Philippa, and from the Paris team, also Arteta out. Where we at now? Where we at? Thank you for all the comments that are coming in. Would you put a prime Van Persie in this? Listen, we could do with a prime Van Persie before he ran off in this team. Nash says Basuma 40 million. Van Arnold 3, Onana 8 million, then Donker 35 million. If you've got 250 million, I'm going better than that. I'm going more like what this guy's saying here. Basuma, Grealish, Aarons, Isaac, simple transfers. You'd have money left over probably. Mahil says Kamia Camavinga. That would be another player. I like that Camavinga. I mean, I think he's a superb player. If you've really got the money, you go and get somebody like that done, don't you? You know what I mean? And to me, you go and get players like that done. If the 250 million's on the table, Camavinga will be a wonderful signing. Let's see if I can find this. Sorry, it's another super chat here. I'm just trying to find. Can't get it. It's your mama. He says, no way this is real, since that would require us to be a serious club. And if it was a serious club, oh, sorry, it just disappeared on me. Oh, sorry, that super chat disappeared on me. I'll try and get it back. Abraham says Usman, Dembele, Grealish, and Basuma. Awar, Basuma, Andres Silva, Ben White would all be set those targets, Rob says from Hijash. And again, if you've got that sort of money to spend, those are players we should be talking to. This guy says, hey, Robbie, for us latecomers, who says we have 250 million? When it's being reported today everywhere in, and I think the story originates from an article that was on 90 Mins, which is a website, a football website, and they're sort of reporting that Arsenal Mikel Arteta to be handed 250 million pounds to spend in this transfer window. As you can imagine, I'm very doubtful of it. I'd want to see evidence of that first. But the report, that's what on here, talk about things. As I says, 50 million for Ben White, 50 million for Bissouma, Locatelli 30 million, 35 million for Aarons, Maddison 70 million, Hoyg 50 million, 250 in total. He's added it all up. He's got it spent out already. Only if, Zaki says, Saki Farhad says, big up to Robbie. How much do you think is Arsenal going to spend in total in this transfer window? Your guess. My guess, Zaki, is that, I honestly don't know. I personally think I'm sticking to what I've heard as the original sort of thing, which is basically Arsenal selling a load of players, right? And they've got a lot of players to sell and raising money off of that. And then maybe a little on top, maybe 100 million. And that's including the players that are sold. But I can't see 250 million. I'd love to see 250 million. I would absolutely love to see it. And if there's talks of players like, I do believe that Arsenal are looking to spend more money than people think this summer, because with talk of Maddison's, Ben White's, possible Basumas, those are all going to be very expensive signings. But for me, it's, for me, I just can't see it. They've just not done it before in the past. So there's just nothing that really makes me feel that some of these rumors are true until I start seeing some action around it. Terra says Arsenal took out an unspecified loan from Barclays a couple of months ago. That's what we were hearing, of course. That may have something to do with it. I want Maddison for sure. Could be. A lot of that could also be to do with the fact that Arsenal are going to be in huge debt because we're not in Europe. We've lost loads and loads of money because of the COVID situation. Wanyama says, Ramos, please. Chelsea bought Silva and it worked. I just feel that, Ramos I would take, but I feel that somebody like Ramos, again, he's going to want to go, Silva went to Chelsea, but that's because he knows that Chelsea has spent 250 or 200 million pounds in that transfer window and be challenging for something. Ramos coming to Arsenal, what for, really? When you think about it, if you're Ramos, would you come to Arsenal? Be real. IA says, yo, Rob, I'll be honest. I don't know how we can get 250 million without seriously breaching FFP. I don't believe it at all. To be honest, two players that are affordable are Lokonga and Sabitzer. We need to start doing business quick. Sabitzer, who's looked brilliant in the tournament, I would definitely be going to try and get a player like that, experienced as well. Yeah, I'll be happy with him. Amos says, all the strikers Arsenal are linked to are no better than Lacazette. I said this the other day. I understand replacing Lacazette, but it's got to be someone who's better. If not, what's the point in replacing him? Scorpion says, Dumfries has a 15 million buyout clause. Absolute bargain. Bisharo says, Awar 60 million, Basuma 45 million. Chelik 20 million. Grealish 70 million. Onana 20 million. Yeah. Love how you guys are working it out, man. If it was only that easy. Gillo says Awar is a bargain, young and has plenty of room to improve. We should definitely be in for him. I'm going to do a couple more as we round it up. I've got to get to the studio. Ramos, Dumfries, Onana, Ndidi, and Grealish, says Bob Jr. You got me dreaming, Bob. You got me dreaming. And Rob, what about Daniel Marlon? Yeah, decent players, look good in the tournament. And hey, Robbie, what do you think we will do with Matteo Guendouzi? We're definitely going to sell Guendouzi. It's just a matter of Arsenal trying to get the maximum amount of money for Guendouzi. They don't want to let him go on the cheap. So, you know, Awar, Basuma and Aaron is a must. Saliba and Martinelli need to play more, and we need to try for Gravenbeck from Ajax. Sabitzer, Awar, Locatelli, Aarons, Ben White would be perfect. I'm not sure if this rumor going at about £250 million now has got us all dreaming. It's got us all dreaming. Paul says, what position would you cover first, and which signing will you be covering in that position? First signing I would make would be for a defensive midfielder, Basuma. First signing. That would be my first signing. Then I move on from there, because then I know Basuma, Partey in the midfield. Then I work on, after that, I then work on my attacking player, my attacking midfielder. To me, there's three priorities for me this summer. Three. Right back, defensive midfielder, central midfielder. Those three are the absolute priorities for Arsenal. Everything after that for me is a bonus. You go and get a Ben White centre back, great. You know, but defensive midfielder, Basuma. Right back, Lamptey, maybe a Dumfries, but a good right back. A backup left back. A holding midfielder, Basuma. And an attacking midfielder, whether it be Awar, whether it be Odegaard, whether it be James Maddison. But those are the priorities. Everything else for me is a bonus. I'm not buying this 250 million. Everything else for me is a bonus. We've got 250 million, get Grealish. Play him as a number 10. That's what I do. But we'll wait and see. Original Aqua says, replace Laka. Is he's holding out on a contract? Edu needs to stuck to his word. Remember, he said he wouldn't let no players go into their last year. No more 30-plus high contracts. You get your contract age 27, 30, peak year. It depends who you are. Depends who you are. You know what I mean? I look around and I see all these players, you know, Lewandowski over 30, you know, Aguero over 30, Ronaldo over 30, Messi over 30. They ain't doing bad, are they? So it depends who that 30-year-old is. But anyway, listen, thanks for watching the show today. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow with another Transfer Daily. I might come live again tomorrow. Let's go live again tomorrow and get your guys' views again. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the All Guns Blazing podcast. Get over onto the Don Robbie channel for all our Euro coverage. Don't forget to subscribe onto that channel as well. But we'll be back tomorrow. £250 million to spend. We wish.